So check this out. I picked up this Baja mini bike that I figured would make a good test bike to test parts on. So it's partially together. It has nice new tires on here. A Predator 212, a Predator Hemi, just basically setting on here. And it has the stock drum brake. Looks like it has the stock jack shaft on here. It has a nice new throttle assembly and a new kill switch. And then it came with a pile of parts. So you get your fenders, light, looks like the brake cable, and the fake gas cap, and the fake gas tank, and then the seat. You got some foot pegs. I think this is the brake bracket. So I'll throw this bike up on the stand and I'll see if I can get it running. See if I can get this chain on here. Tensioner feels a little bit tight. Looks like he put a whole new jack shaft on here, or a whole new setup, which is kind of cool. I think I might need another piece of 40 chain, because if you look at this chain, so it's totally stretched. So I'm gonna have to throw a new piece of chain on here. So I have a new piece of chain and then the old chain, and you can see along the chain there, it's bent up. That would have definitely not worked very well. There we go. That looks nice and straight on there. So this is supposed to have a cotter pin in here. And the bike came with a new chain for the jack shaft. Now the clutch that came with this thing is old. Looks like the original clutch. Just make sure I lube that bushing on here. So I threw a washer behind there, and it's just off of those bolts there, so it doesn't rub. So it's cool, this bike came with the correct chain, or the proper length chain for this. So it makes things easy. Okay. So the cover he gave me for this kind of has some chipped paint on it. So we can't have that, because it has to look good. I mean, who cares if it runs as long as it looks good? So I have this black cover. So now let me see if I can fix that brake. Hopefully I have all the parts for it. Throw a kickstand spring on here. Hopefully this will work. This is a random spring that I got at Home Depot. We'll see. So that'll work. Now for this brake, I think this bracket goes here. I had one of these bikes on the channel, I don't know, a couple years ago, but I can't remember how this brake goes, but I'm pretty sure it's this bracket goes down here on the frame. Something like that. And it bolts down there. Okay, so that should work. I think this arm needs to come down here, so the cable comes through down there. So I got my brake handle, and my brake cable ran down here. And then I moved this arm down, and my cable through here. So then we have this piece that goes on the arm here. Okay, there we go. Got some nice solid brake on there. And it's returning just fine without a spring on here, so I think that'll be okay. So now I will adjust this tire here and adjust this chain. On this jack shaft setup, I need to throw a bolt in here just to hold the jack shaft. So another thing while I'm on this side is this recoil. So I think it goes about right there. So these foot pegs look like they've seen better days. Yeah, that looks pretty good on there. So I have these alien green handle grips I'll put on here. I think they'll look pretty good on here. Kind of match that green. So this thing still has the governor hooked up. So this thing ought to be a rocket ship. But let's test it out with the governor first. I'm not even sure about this carb either. I don't know how long the thing has been setting, but I guess we'll find out. Oh man, that thing looks pretty sweet. I don't know how to run, but it looks cool. I don't even have any charging coils for this headlight. That's okay. It'll look good on there. So we got the fenders that were already painted that matte black that the frame is painted. So it'll be easy enough just to pop those on there. It looks like it's on there a little bit off. There's no space here, but all kinds up there in front. I think I'm gonna have to bend this bracket. Nothing a little crescent wrench action can't fix. And they look pretty cool, right down low on the tire right there. So anyway, that looks a lot better. So now for the fake tank and then the fake cap. Maybe it'll run on fake gas. This is going to be the easiest gas tank install of all time because I don't have to run any fuel lines from it. Since this doesn't have a switch on the blower housing here, I can hook the wires directly to the switch on the kill switch. So I made up a pigtail with 2 plugs on the end and then the bare wires. So I'm going to splice it onto here and then run it to there. So these solder steel connectors make life easy for hooking up kill switches and stuff. They make easy work of soldering 2 wires together because they have the solder built into the connector. Throw some shrink wrap on here. For years now, I've been trying to blow up one of these engines with the governor wheel still in the crankcase. So this one here still has the governor wheel in the crankcase. It's all stock. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that governor arm off of there and re-hook up the throttle without the governor, but still leave the wheel in the crankcase. So I've left the governor wheel in the Duramax 208 and then in the Coleman 196 over, I don't know, 15 or 20 videos and never had any luck breaking that wheel off inside or that wheel coming apart inside. So maybe on this one I will. I mean, I've seized the rod to the crank, the stock rod to the crank before it blew the governor wheel. But maybe I'll get lucky with this one. We'll see. I'm not even gonna tie it back. I'm just gonna let this thing ride and we'll see what happens. I'm not saying leave the governor wheel in. It's always a good idea to remove your governor wheel, especially if you bypass the governor. I'm just doing it for the fun of it, just to see what'll happen. So to make up my throttle assembly, a very simple throttle assembly, I just use a rod that came with the governor, put it on the throttle there, and then bend it up into one of these holes here. And that way when the throttle pulls back, it opens the throttle. Nice, easy, simple throttle. Then I throw a small bend in it right there. So I'm gonna bend there, and then a bend there. And now all I have to do is throw a return spring on here. Okay, so I got the spring hooked up. So now, there we go. Nice, easy, cheap throttle. Well, we're definitely going to gain quite a few miles per hour with the governor bypassed. So we got the kill switch wire all finished up and the throttle. So I think the only thing to do now is the seat. And the seat that came with this bike is totally hammered. It doesn't even have any mounting points anymore. It's all cracked on the bottom. And I think the foam is pretty much worn out. So I guess I'll go ahead and throw a new seat on here. So I picked up this seat for 40 bucks. So it's not bad. And it's worth the 40 bucks because it actually has mounts. Oh yeah, that looks a little bit better than the old one. So on this aftermarket seat, the bolt is off just a little bit. But that's easy fixed. Had to add a small spacer under there. Looks like it was made for it. It kind of actually was. Is this an earlier model Baja Warrior? Because it has this steel tank. Because I noticed the newer ones, or the ones they sell now, have the, I think it's a plastic tank with a door right here. A cargo door. But this one here has a solid metal tank, and I don't see many of these. I think a stocked governed version of this bike goes around 20 miles an hour or so. So as long as we can beat 20, it's all good. So let's see if it'll even run. I'm not sure how long this carb's been sitting. All right, let's go see what this thing will do. Hopefully we can beat 20. We'll see if the governor wheel flies off inside there. Oh, there we go. We already beat 20. 21 so far. Okay, so far we did a top speed of 29.37. Well, the brakes work, so that's a good sign. Let's see if anything's fell off. And this thing's a rocket ship. We almost hit 30 miles an hour. But I guess I can't get a 0 to 30 if we can't hit 30 miles an hour. Maybe we'll hit 30 down this hill. There we go. 30.75. Well, it's a nice, comfortable bike. Let's cruise the hood real quick. At least it's nice and quiet for the neighborhood. Building another house. I think there's only a couple more lots left in this neighborhood, or a few more that are actually buildable. So there's another one. drum brake works pretty good. I'm not sure how good it'll work if the bike goes faster than 30. The top speed's about 31 miles an hour, or pretty close. Tell you what, this thing's comfortable. So the bike runs pretty good. It's definitely comfortable. It's not a rocket ship, but it does do 30 miles an hour, or 30.89. And I didn't try a 0 to 30 because I don't think it would make it to 30 on flatland. So what should I do to this bike next?